Exclusive medical records obtained from the United States show that the current leader of the federal NDP, Jagmeet Singh's father, Dr. Jagtaran Singh Dhaliwal, had his medical license suspensions and disciplinary actions removed from public view by the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. Dr. Dhaliwal is currently practicing in Ontario as a psychiatrist. His son, Jagmeet Singh, takes credit for having his medical license reinstated, but his patients have been deprived of the knowledge necessary to make an informed decision about whether they want their mental health treated by a historically alcoholic doctor who had his competency questioned and his license suspended several times.
The Ontario government and the CPSO has protected Dr. Jagtaran by not disclosing detrimental actions that were taken against this highly questionable alcoholic physician.
Bob Rai is no stranger to exposing questionable doctors. In 2015, after losing his cousin in an explosion, Bob uncovered serious concerns about the forensic pathologist who ruled the death as suicide by fire and explosion. He believed his cousin was assassinated and that the RCMP's investigation was compromised by organized crime, which used a fake forensic pathologist to rule it as suicide, a ruling that created a roadblock for any further investigation for the RCMP. Bob's findings revealed that the forensic pathologist who conducted his cousin's autopsy, Dr. Bamidele Adiegbo, had medical credentials from Nigeria that could not be verified by US medical authorities, ultimately leading to an expose by the American media. Later, Bob investigated another foreign medical graduate, Dr. Bakshish Singh Sandhu.
He answered the question about my medical background. I think we are done.
Bob found that Sandhu is a graduate of CTech, a foreign fraudulent medical school shut down for selling thousands of medical degrees. Now, Bob has turned his attention to Dr. Jagtaran Singh Dhaliwal, the father of federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, applying the same investigating skills that have exposed others in the past.
What have you found about Dr. Jagtaran that is concerning?
Jagmeet Singh, he mentions that his father was a veteran alcoholic that practiced as a psychiatrist in Ontario. And I delved into researching and looking into the background of Dr. Jagtaran Singh Dhaliwal and found very troubling inconsistencies in his medical records and the information that is being disclosed to the public.
Let's take a look at Bob's findings regarding Dr. Jagtaran Singh Dhaliwal. On the left side, we have Dr. Dhaliwal's profile on DocInfo, powered by the Federation of State Medical Boards in the United States. According to their database, there were 5 medical board actions against him in Ontario, including multiple license suspensions. The FSMB cites the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, CPSO, as its source. However, when we access Dr. Dhaliwal's profile on the CPSO website, it's all gone. All the board actions he faced have been wiped out. I contacted the CPSO regarding this discrepancy, and their response was privacy laws. This means that a patient researching Dr. Dhaliwal on the CPSO database will not be aware of his history of license suspensions. On the other hand, based on the data they have, the FSMB explains that Dr. Dhaliwal applied to CPSO to have one of the medical board actions against him expunged in 2013, but it appears that all of the other actions were erased as well. I made several attempts to contact Dr. Dhaliwal for clarification, but his office declined. Another inconsistency Bob points out is the fact that on the CPSO's database, Dr. Dhaliwal claims to be a graduate from Punjabi University, but according to the information on FSMB's DocInfo, he is a graduate of Government Medical College, Patiala. That's a totally different school. Both are in Patiala, Punjab, India, but they are not the same school.
I think Dr. Jagtaran Singh Dhaliwal is not a qualified psychiatrist. He is not a qualified doctor. Matter of fact, Punjab is a state in India where academic credentials are actively sold to the highest bidder. So you could purchase academic credentials in Punjab, and if you take those to a country like Canada, where there is no law and order or accountability, it is very easy to obtain medical licenses.
The violations. Unfortunately, due to the CPSO's removal of these orders against Dr. Dhaliwal, we do not have access to the transcripts to determine the exact reasons. But let's look at what we have access to, thanks to the American database. In 2004, Dr. Dhaliwal had his license suspended pending the evaluation of his competency. About 3 months later, his license was reinstated with strict conditions. On November 10, 2004, his license was suspended again for violating the previous restrictions placed on his license, as explained by the FCVS. In 2008, nearly 4 years later, Dr. Dhaliwal got his license back, with restrictions, and in 2013, the restrictions were removed, and shortly after all of this information was wiped out of the CPSO's database. Bob thinks that CPSO is wrong for erasing this information.
I have a message for CPSO. Function as an institution in Canada, not an institution operating out of Pakistan.
Jagmeet Singh publicly takes credit for helping his father regain his medical license. In his book, he describes his father as being heavily alcoholic during the years when he lost his license. I contacted Jagmeet for clarification on the type of help he provided, but my inquiry went unanswered.
Jagmeet helped his alcoholic father, who has questionable medical credentials that appear to be inconsistent, possibly even fraudulent, re-obtain his medical license. He assisted and facilitated his father to further perpetuate his unsincere medical treatments to the good folks of Ontario.
In 2013, while Jagmeet Singh was an elected representative in Ontario, those restrictions were lifted entirely, and CPSO erased all records of his past disciplinary actions. Dr. Dhaliwal's psychiatric evaluations are utilized in legal proceedings. Does he disclose to judges and opposing counsel that his license was suspended twice and that his competency was formally questioned? If this information is considered irrelevant to his practice, should that decision rest with CPSO or with the patients and legal professionals relying on his expertise?
Jagmeet Singh does not represent Canada. He does not represent Canadian government.
Bob points out the fact how Dr. Jagtaran's son, Jagmeet Singh, was parachuted from Ontario to Burnaby, BC to become the leader of the federal NDP with merely receiving 35,000 votes within the party, less than 0.1% of Canadian population.
He only represents one thing, and that is the extremist and dangerous ideologies of the World Sikh Organization. And he benefited his father by using his political leverage to clean up his negative history on his medical profile. Jagmeet Singh needs to be removed from politics, and he is a threat to kind, peaceful, and compassionate Canadians.
The World Sikh Organization is a politically influential advocacy group whose executives or their family members have held key government positions in Canada. In 1985, WSO's top executives were interrogated by the RCMP with a polygraph regarding their suspected involvement in the Air India bombings. Even before the bombings, the organization had already been regarded as extremist on the world stage. Jagmeet's brother, now an Ontarian politician, was previously an executive within this Khalistani organization. If WSO-linked individuals can receive government appointments, judicial positions, and political influence at the highest levels, how much influence might they have over regulatory bodies like CPSO?
The Canadian College of Physicians and Surgeons, as well as all the provincial medical boards that are authorizing medical licenses, need to be scrutinized. We need to stop the hiring of DEI doctors based on their skin colors, and we need to ensure that doctors are properly qualified and educated before they are given medical licenses. We have pandered too much in Canada, and the cost of sacrificing good Canadians to fake doctors is not reasonable, and we must fix our healthcare and medical system in Canada.
Who are you voting for next election?
My political alignment is in Canada is I do not vote for any of the uniparty. All political parties in Canada have done nothing but take advantage of good-hearted Canadians, and Canadians need a new option, and the uniparty must be brought to its knees.
What do you think? Should you, as the patient, be the one to decide whether license suspensions arising from alcohol addiction 20 years ago are still relevant today? Or would you rather trust that responsibility to the CPSO, the same organization that wants Jordan Peterson to undergo re-education over gender pronouns? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this report and appreciate the work I do, please consider donating at mediabizirgan.com/donate. I am not funded by any government or special interest group. The work I produce is made possible by viewers like you who contribute to keep the news freely accessible to the public. Without your support, it simply wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much.